Unit 17, page 277, Exercise 4B.
Thanks for giving me some time today. Here's my first question. Was the area first inhabited by the Inca?
No, it wasn't. Long before the Inca, the Aymara created a great civilization around Lake Titicaca. In fact, the Aymara still live in Bolivia.
Interesting. Now, let's talk about farming. I know potatoes are an important food crop in the mountains of the Andes. Is corn grown there as well?
No, it isn't. The climate is too cold for corn, but quinoa grows well there.
Quinoa? Is that spelled with a K?
No, it isn't. You spell it with a Q. Quinoa. Quinoa is a traditional grain, like corn and wheat in other places. It has been eaten by the inhabitants of the Andes since ancient times. In fact, it's been a major source of food for more than 5,000 years.
Now, everyone thinks of llamas when they think of Bolivia. What are these animals used for?
Oh, for many things. Clothing, meat, transportation. But they only do well high in the Andes.
I see. And what about other resources? I know that tin is extremely important in Bolivia. Where is it mined?
Well, the richest sources of tin are found in the Andes.
And how about the eastern part of the country? What resources are in that region?
In the Oriente, oil and natural gas.
Okay, let's talk about languages now. I know Spanish is the official language of Bolivia, but what other languages are spoken in the country?
Actually, more people speak Native American languages than Spanish.
That's interesting. Now, I know scientists love Bolivia for its wildlife. Are there still many jaguars there?
Yes. In the last decades, conservation has been made a top priority by our government. It's become their mission to protect jaguars and other rare and beautiful animals. We must show these animals respect, or we risk losing them.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I'll send you a copy of our publication as soon as the article comes out.
Unit 17, page 281, Exercise 8.
Okay, class. Today, we're going to learn a little bit about the country of Haiti, or the Republic of Haiti, as it is officially called. Haiti is located in the Caribbean, on the island of Hispaniola, which it shares with the Dominican Republic. Haiti is inhabited by more than 10.6 million people, and there are two official languages. French and Haitian Creole are both spoken. It is often said that the island of Hispaniola was discovered by Christopher Columbus. Of course, Columbus didn't really discover the island. It was already inhabited by the Taino people when Columbus came across it in 1492 while he was trying to sail to Asia. After Columbus, Haiti was ruled by Spain for over 100 years, from 1492 to 1625. This was followed by French rule from 1625 to 1804. Haiti finally won its independence in 1804. Today, Haiti gets most of its income from agriculture. It is the world's largest producer of a plant called vetiver. Vetiver is used to make perfume, body creams, and soap. Other crops that are grown on the island include coffee, nuts, fruits such as mangoes and papayas, and bananas. These crops are also exported to other countries. Corn, rice, and sweet potatoes are also grown and eaten on the island. Tourism is another important source of income. Haiti is visited by more than 1.2 million tourists a year, most of them on cruise ships. The government is trying to increase tourism, and since 2014, several new hotels have been built.
Unit 18, page 287. Read.
Close quarters. Will decisions be made too fast? The Japanese astronauts wondered. Can they be made quickly enough? The Americans wanted to know. Is dinner going to be taken seriously? Was the question worrying the French and the Dutch, while the Italians were nervous about their personal space. How can privacy be maintained in such very close quarters? The year was 2000. It was the beginning of the new millennium, and the focus of all these concerns was the International Space Station, ISS, the largest and most complex international project ever. At the time, many were asking themselves, can this huge undertaking really be accomplished by a multicultural group living in close quarters? In addition to their other concerns, all the astronauts were worrying about language. In the beginning, English was the official language on the ISS, and a great number of technical terms had to be learned by everyone on board. Today, both English and Russian must be learned by all astronauts before they go into space. Another major concern was food. What time should meals be served? How should preparation and cleanup be handled? Those worries had to be tested in space before anyone would know for sure. But by now the answer is clear. For almost 2 decades, ISS astronauts have been proving that great achievements in technology and science can be made by an international group working together. Since November 2000, when the first crew boarded the ISS, the station has been operated by astronauts from 15 countries, including Brazil, Canada, Japan, Russia, the United States, and members of the European Union. How did this international group of astronauts manage to work together and assemble the space station in just about 10 years? How were they able to cooperate with one another to achieve their research goals during long periods in a trapped environment? All astronauts receive cross-cultural training, but often sensitivity and tolerance can't be taught from a textbook. They must be observed and experienced personally. 2 researchers suggested that a model for space station harmony might be found in an unusual place, the popular TV series Star Trek, in which a multicultural crew has been getting along for eons. However, real-life astronauts have found a more down-to-earth solution, the family dinner. Astronaut Nicole Stott reported, "We always spend mealtimes together. It's a lot like bringing your family together. The dinner table is where the world's and each other's problems can be solved, and where the astronauts listen to good music, eat good food, improve our vocabulary in other languages, and laugh a lot." Astronauts also benefit from their unique perspective of Earth. They like to point out that national borders can't be seen from space. As Indian-American astronaut Sunita Williams says, "I consider myself a citizen of the universe. When we go up in space, all we can see is a beautiful Earth where there are no borders of nations and religions." Russian cosmonaut Sergei Ryazanskiy says, "The ISS can't exist without international cooperation." This spirit of cooperation may turn out to be the project's greatest achievement.
Unit 18, page 295. Exercise 3B. Conversation 1.
This simulation was great, but it was too warm in there. I think the temperature on the ISS should be kept at 20 degrees Celsius, no warmer than that.
Shorts and t-shirts can be sent to the station for you. That's what most astronauts ask for.
By the way, you know that woman who wants to visit the space station? I hear that she might not be accepted on our mission. They're considering her application now. Her company wants her to do a spacewalk, and so far only astronauts have done that.
Her application shouldn't be rejected just for that. But she ought to complete a simulation first.
Absolutely. She's got to be trained to work while wearing a spacesuit. That can't be done except underwater in one of the space labs.
Conversation 2.
Did you fill in your food preference forms? They should be sent to the Food Systems Lab today.
I did. I'm glad the new dishes have to be approved by everyone.
You'll find that the food will be shared by everyone too. Everyone enjoys trying different things, and we all benefit from the variety.
That's great, but I have a concern about shaving in 0G. The whisker dust from my beard and mustache keep flying back into my face. It's uncomfortable. I also wonder if it could be dangerous and if something could be done about it.
I have a feeling we're going to be surprised by a lot of unexpected problems.
Unit 18, page 297. Exercise 5. Conversation 1.
Spaceship Endeavour calling Earth. This is Captain Picara speaking. We've been hit by a meteorite.
Earth to Spaceship Endeavour. Is anyone hurt, Captain Picara?
No, everyone is safe.
You'd better start repairing the damage immediately.
It can't be repaired out here.
Conversation 2.
We'll be approaching planet CX5 of the Delta Solar System in a few hours. Is there language on our computer, Dr. Sock?
I'm checking now. Sorry, Captain Picara. I see that we don't have a language for planet CX5 on the computer. But look here. We have one for CX4. Shall we try it?
Okay, Sock. Let's try it. But we'd better be very careful. Our messages could be misunderstood.
Conversation 3.
I've just spoken to Lon, Captain. He wants you to send him to find help on CX5. He says he's been to CX5 before. He knows the language and the people.
No, Sock. Lon takes too many risks. He can't be trusted on such an important mission. I'll send Torsha instead.
But, Captain, we know that Lon will be taken seriously down there. Why not send both of them?
Okay, Sock. You've convinced me. I'll send Lon with Torsha.
Conversation 4.
Okay, Torsha. It looks like we're ready to leave. Let's go.
Lon? I think you forgot something. Where's your oxygen?
Oxygen? Why? Isn't the atmosphere on CX5 just like Earth's?
I think you've been in space too long, Lon. Read your manual. Oxygen must be used in this situation.
Conversation 5.
Look at those plants, Torsha. They're huge. I want to take some back to the ship.
They're really amazing plants, Lon, but they can't be grown in space. We've already tried.
That's right. I forgot.
Conversation 6.
What do you want to ask us, Earthlings?
Our vehicle was hit by a meteorite. We request permission to land on your planet.
Permission granted. Our engineers will be ready for you.
Thank you. As you know, we have to be helped with the repairs.
Unit 19, page 301. Read.
Body art. Each culture has a different ideal of beauty, and throughout the ages, men and women have done amazing things to achieve the ideal. They have had their hair shaved, cut, colored, straightened, and curled, and they have had their bodies decorated with painting and tattoos. Here are some of today's many options.
Hair. Getting your hair done is the easiest way to change your appearance. Today, both men and women have their hair permed. This chemical procedure can curl hair or just give it more body. If your hair is long, you can, of course, get it cut. But did you know that you can also have short hair lengthened with hair extensions? Of course, you can have your hair colored and become a blonde, brunette, or redhead. But you can also have it bleached white or get it dyed blue, green, or orange.
Tattoos. This form of body art was created many thousands of years ago. Today, tattoos have again become popular. More and more people are having them done. However, caution is necessary. Although nowadays you can get a tattoo removed with less pain and scarring than before, getting a tattoo is still a big decision.
Piercing. Pierced ears are an old favorite, but lately the practice of piercing has expanded. Many people now are getting their noses, lips, or other parts of the body pierced for jewelry. Piercing requires even more caution than tattooing, and aftercare is very important to avoid infection.
Body paint. If a tattoo is not for you, you can have ornaments painted on your skin instead. Some people have necklaces and bracelets painted on their neck and arms, or get a butterfly mask applied to their face for a special event. Sports fans often get their face painted with their team's colors or the name of their favorite player. Body paintings can be large, but unlike tattoos, they can be washed off.
Cosmetic surgery. You can get your nose shortened or have your chin lengthened. You can even have the shape of your body changed. There is always some risk involved, so the decision to have cosmetic surgery requires a lot of thought.
Some of the ways of changing your appearance may be cheap and temporary. However, others are expensive and permanent. So think before you act, and don't let today's choice become tomorrow's regret.
Unit 19, page 310. Exercise 5.
Hello.
Hi, Dad. It's me.
Gee woo. Hi, honey. How are things going with your new apartment?
Great, Dad. I really like my roommate, and I can drive to school in just 15 minutes.
Good. Hey, speaking of driving, remember that you have to change the oil in your car every 3,000 miles. It must be almost time.
I remembered. In fact, I changed it today.
Good. Did you change the locks on your apartment door, too?
Of course, Dad. I got them changed right after we moved in. Don't worry. This is a really safe neighborhood.
Okay, but you know we can't help worrying a little. Your mother said the apartment needs painting. Maybe I could come up next weekend and paint it for you. You probably need some bookshelves, too. I could put those up, too.
That's okay, Dad. It's a pretty small apartment, so I was able to paint it in just one afternoon. It looks great. And I got the bookshelves put up as soon as the paint was dry.
Wow, it sounds like you've really settled in.
Just about. I had to buy a desk and some lamps. They fit right into the car, so I didn't even have to have them delivered.
Well, your mom and I would really love to see you soon, even if you don't have any chores for us to do.
I'd love to see you too, Dad. Why don't you come up next weekend? Oh, I should warn you. Speaking of painting, I had my hands painted. Don't be shocked when you see me.
Okay, I'll warn your mother. Anything else we should know about?
I had my hair cut too. It's short now. Oh, and then I decided that I didn't like the color, so I'm gonna color it tonight. Purple.
Purple? Hey, will we be able to recognize you?
Well, maybe we'd better meet at the apartment.
Unit 20, page 316. Read.
Pick and click. Shopping at home. Where is the largest mall in the world? If you think it's in Dubai or China, you're wrong. It's in cyberspace. And you can get there from home on your very own computer. Cyber shopping is fast, convenient, and often less expensive. It doesn't matter if it's a book or a diamond necklace. With just a click of your mouse, you can buy anything without getting up from your chair. If you're looking for the best price, you can easily compare prices and read other buyers' reviews of products. Shopping online can save you time and money, but you need to surf and shop safely. Here are some tips to make your trip to the cyber mall a good one.
You are less likely to have a problem if you shop with well-known companies.
If you don't know the company, ask them to send you information. What is their address? Their phone number?
Always pay by credit card if you can. If you are unhappy with the product, or if you don't receive it, then you can dispute the charge.
Only enter your credit card information on a secure site. If you see a closed lock or complete key symbol at the bottom of your screen, the site is secure. Also, the web address will change from HTTP to HTTPS. This means that your credit card number will be encrypted, changed so that others can't read it. If the site isn't secure, don't enter your credit card information.
If you have kids, don't let them give out personal information.
If you have any doubts about a site's security, contact the store by phone or email.
Find out the return policy. What happens if you don't like the product?
Print out and save a record of your purchase. If there is a problem, the receipt gives you proof of purchase.
If you change your mind about an order, contact the company immediately.
As you can see, many of these steps are similar to the ones you follow in a store with doors. Just use common sense. If you take some basic precautions, you shouldn't have any problems. Internet shopping has literally brought a world of opportunity to consumers. Today, we can shop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in stores that are halfway around the globe without ever having to leave home or stand in line. As with many things in life, there are some risks. Just remember that online or off, if an offer seems too good to be true, it probably is. Happy cyber shopping!
Unit 20, page 322. Exercise 2B.
Is understanding fashion the most important thing for a career as a buyer?
It is. If you don't understand fashion, you don't belong in this field. But buyers need other skills, too.
Such as?
You can make better decisions if you have good business skills.
People skills must be important, too.
True. A buyer needs great interpersonal skills if she's negotiating prices.
Do you travel in your business?
A lot. If there's a big international fashion fair, I'm usually there.
Why fashion fairs?
Thousands of professionals attend. If I go to a fair, I can see hundreds of products in a few days.
You just got back from the Milan fair, didn't you?
Yes, and I went to Paris and Madrid, too. I usually stay 2 weeks if I'm traveling to Europe.
Does your family ever go with you?
Often. If my husband has the time to come, he and our son Pietro do things together. Pietro comes to the fair with me if my husband doesn't have time. Next week, we're all going to Hong Kong.
Oh. What do you do when you're not at a fashion fair?
I always go shopping if I have free time.
Unit 20, page 326. Exercise 6. Announcement 1.
Flight 398 nonstop to Hong Kong will be ready to board at Gate 8C in just a few minutes. Please have your boarding passes and passports ready. If you have more than one piece of carry-on luggage, you must check the extra pieces at the gate. Only one piece of carry-on luggage per person will be permitted on board. We will begin boarding in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Announcement 2.
Flight 398 nonstop to Hong Kong is now ready for boarding. If you are traveling with a small child or if you need extra time, please go to the gate now. If you are flying standby, please wait until all other passengers have boarded. If you are sitting in rows 17 to 24, please proceed to the gate for boarding. All other passengers, please wait until your row is called.
Announcement 3.
Flight 398 is now continuing to board. If you are sitting in rows 7 to 16, please proceed to the gate for boarding. Please have your boarding pass and passport ready. If you are traveling standby, please continue to wait until all other passengers have boarded.
Announcement 4.
Welcome to Flight 398 nonstop to Hong Kong. Please pay careful attention while the flight attendants review some important safety procedures. In the unlikely event that the cabin loses pressure, oxygen masks will automatically descend from the overhead panels. If you are traveling with a child, put your own mask on first, then assist the child. This cabin is equipped with 6 emergency exits. Please take the time to locate the one nearest you.
Announcement 5.
Good morning. This is Captain Huang Wen-Chu speaking. We hope you're enjoying the flight. We are flying at an altitude of 35,000 feet with light winds and clear skies. For passengers sitting on the left, if you look out your window, you can see the lights of Tokyo. We're expecting to arrive on schedule, and the weather in Hong Kong should be good.
Announcement 6.
We are beginning our initial descent into the Hong Kong area. The temperature is a comfortable 26 degrees Celsius. That's around 78 degrees Fahrenheit, and the skies are pretty clear. If you need information about a connecting flight, be sure to check the overhead monitors in the airport terminal. Please put your seats and tray tables in an upright and locked position, and make sure all carry-on luggage is safely stowed under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartments. We should be landing in Hong Kong in approximately 10 minutes. We thank you for flying UP Air and hope you have had a pleasant trip.
Unit 21, page 331. Read.
Knock on wood.
If you knock on wood, you'll keep bad luck away. You'll get a good grade on the test if you wear your shirt inside out. You'll get a bad grade unless you use your lucky pen.
Superstitions may sound silly to some, but millions of people all over the world believe in their power to bring good luck or prevent bad luck. In fact, different cultures share many similar superstitions.
If you break a mirror, you'll have 7 years of bad luck. If the palm of your hand itches, you're going to get some money. If it rains when you move to a new house, you'll get rich.
All superstitions are based on a cause and effect relationship. If X happens, then Y will also happen. However, in superstitions, the cause is magical and unrelated to the effect. In our scientific age, why are these beliefs so powerful and widespread? The Luck Project, an online survey of superstitious behaviors, gives us some fascinating insight. Read some of their findings on the next page.
Emotions can influence superstitions, especially in uncertain situations where people do not have control. People will react in a more superstitious way if they are worried. They will react in a less superstitious way if they don't feel a strong need for control. We make our own luck. If you believe you're lucky, you will carry out rituals that make you feel good, crossing your fingers for luck, for example. As a result, you probably won't fear bad luck signs, such as breaking a mirror, and you might perform better in stressful situations. In contrast, if you think you're unlucky, you will anticipate the worst and look for signs of bad luck that confirm your belief. Your attitude makes a difference. More people than you might think believe in superstitions. Of the 4,000 people surveyed, 84% knocked on wood for good luck. Almost half feared walking under a ladder. And 15% of the people who studied or worked in the sciences feared the number 13.
Clearly, higher education doesn't eliminate superstition. College students are among the most superstitious people, Other superstitious groups are performers, athletes, gamblers, and stock traders. People in these groups often have lucky charms or personal good luck rituals. Deanna McBrearty, a New York City ballet member, has lucky hairbands. If I have a good performance when I'm wearing one, I'll keep wearing it, she says. Baseball player Wade Boggs would only eat chicken before a game. Brett Gallagher, a stock trader, believes he'll be more successful if he owns pet fish. I had fish for a while, and after they died, the market didn't do so well, he points out. Will you do better on the test if you use your lucky pen? Maybe. If the pen makes you feel more confident, you might improve your score. So go ahead and use it. But don't forget, your lucky pen will be powerless unless you study. The harder you work, the luckier you'll get.
Unit 21, page 336. Exercise 2B. Conversation 1.
It's midnight. Unless we get some sleep, we won't do well tomorrow.
But I won't be able to sleep unless I stop worrying about the test.
Here's my lucky charm. If you wear it, you'll do fine.
Conversation 2.
I found my blue shirt. If I wear it, I'm sure I'll pass.
Great. Now if we just clean up the room, we can leave for school.
We can't clean up. There's a Russian superstition that says if you clean your room, you'll get a bad test grade.
Conversation 3.
If we finish the test by noon, we can go to the job fair.
I want to get a job, but nobody is going to hire me unless I pass this test.
Conversation 4.
I'm looking for my lucky pen. Unless I find it, I won't pass the test.
Don't worry. If you use the same pen that you used to study with, you'll do great. The pen will remember the answers.
Conversation 5.
I was so nervous without my lucky pen. It'll be a miracle if I pass.
That's the wrong attitude. There aren't any miracles. If you study, you'll do well. It's that simple.
Conversation 6.
Do you think a company like ZY3 Inc. will offer me a job if I fill out an application?
Only if you use your lucky pen. I'm kidding. You won't know unless you try.
Unit 21, page 338. Exercise 4B. 1.
If I work for ZY3, I'm gonna be happy. I'm sure of it.
If you work for ZY3, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be miserable.
2.
You have such a pessimistic attitude. I'll have the chance to travel a lot if I take this job.
Not true. If you take this job, you won't have the chance to travel a lot. You'll never leave the office.
3.
But I'll get a raise every year if I stay at ZY3.
If you stay at ZY3, you won't get a raise every year. You'll get a raise every 2 years.
4.
Well, if I join ZY3, I'm going to have wonderful healthcare benefits.
Stay healthy. If you join ZY3, you're not going to have wonderful healthcare benefits. You're going to have terrible healthcare benefits.
5.
I don't believe you. If I accept ZY3's offer, it'll be the best career move of my life.
Believe me, if you accept ZY3's offer, it won't be the best career move of your life. It'll be the worst career move of your life.
Unit 21, page 340. Exercise 7.
Welcome to Meet the Candidates. Tonight we are talking to Yuki Tamari, who, as most of you know, is running for Student Council President. Welcome, Yuki.
Thanks, Daniel. It's a pleasure to be here.
What will you do first if you become our Student Council President?
Students don't think the Student Council is listening to them. That attitude is very widespread. And that's why, if I'm elected, I'm going to improve communications with students. I want to be available to students and hear what they have to say.
How do you plan to do that?
First, by a lot of personal contact. If I'm elected, I'll have informal lunch meetings with students. In the evenings, I'll be at the student union and other places where students meet. Unless I talk to a lot of students personally, I won't be able to hear their concerns. That has been the problem of our student council for a while.
What else do you have in mind?
Again, I want to talk about communication. If I become president, I'm going to appoint a committee to improve the student council's website. A lot more information should be available to students. Teacher evaluations, for example. If we publish evaluations on the web, it'll give the students more insight, and it'll be much easier for them to choose their courses. The email addresses of student council representatives should also be on our website. Students can't participate in student government unless they know how to contact their representatives.
Do you have any plans for other student services?
I have a lot of plans, but I'll just mention one right now. If I become president, I'll try to get the college to provide a bus service between the airport and the college at the beginning and end of every semester. It won't be free, but if students use the bus, they won't have to pay those very expensive taxi fares. This will also be a much friendlier welcome for international students when they arrive here for their first semester.
What about educational issues?
The college should offer more majors. A lot of students are interested in mass communications, for example, but there's no mass communications major. International studies is another important major that the college doesn't offer. If I'm elected, I'm going to encourage the administration to develop more areas of study. Many students will take these courses if we offer them.
College tuition has been increasing very quickly. Is there anything the student council can do about that?
This is a state college, but our tuition has been rising too. Unless we can keep tuition costs down, a lot of good students aren't going to be able to afford a college education. If I'm elected, I will ask our student council to create a committee to meet with state lawmakers. Many state colleges have committees that do this. If I get support for this idea, we will be able to discuss tuition costs with the state government.
Thanks, Yuki. You have a very ambitious platform. Good luck at the polls tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm wearing my lucky charm, so I'm going to win.
Oh, are you superstitious?
Not really. I believe if I prepare well for something, I'll do fine. As for my lucky charm, I figure it can't hurt.
Unit 22, page 344. Read.
The Fisherman and His Wife. Once upon a time, there was a poor fisherman and his wife who lived in a pig pen near the sea. Every day the man went to fish. One day, after waiting a very long time, he caught a very big fish. To his surprise, the fish spoke and said,
"Please let me live. I'm not a regular fish. If you knew my real identity, you wouldn't kill me. I'm an enchanted prince."
Don't worry. I won't kill you,
responded the kind-hearted fisherman. With these words, he threw the fish back into the clear water and went home to his wife. "Husband," said the wife, "didn't you catch anything today?"
I caught a fish, but it said it was an enchanted prince, so I let it go.
"You mean you didn't wish for anything?" asked the wife.
No.
Said the fisherman.
What do I need to wish for?
"Just look around you," said the wife. "We live in a pig pen. I wish we had a nice little cottage. If we had a cottage, I'd be a lot happier. You saved the prince's life.
He's sure to grant your wish. Go back and ask him.
I'm not gonna ask for a cottage. If I asked for a cottage, the fish might get angry.
But in the end, he consented, because he was much more afraid of his wife's anger. When he got to the sea, it was all green and yellow.
My wife wishes we had a cottage,
said the fisherman.
Just go on back,
said the fish.
She already has it.
When he returned home, the fisherman found his wife sitting outside a lovely little cottage. The kitchen was filled with food and all types of cooking utensils. Outside was a little garden with vegetables, fruit trees, hens, and ducks. Things were fine for a week or two. Then the wife said,
"This cottage is much too crowded. I wish we lived in a bigger house. If we lived in a big stone castle, I'd be much happier. Go and ask the fish for it."
The fisherman didn't want to go, but he did. When he got to the sea, it was dark blue and gray.
My wife wishes we lived in a big stone castle,
he said to the fish.
Just go on back. She's standing in front of the door,
said the fish. When he returned home, the fisherman found his wife on the steps of a great big stone castle. The inside was filled with beautiful gold furniture, chandeliers, and carpets. There were servants everywhere. The next morning, the wife woke up and said,
"I wish I were king of all this land."
What would you do if you were king?
asked her husband.
"If I were king, I would own all this land. Go on back and ask the fish for it."
This time, the sea was all blackish gray, and the water was rough and smelled terrible.
What does she want now?
asked the fish.
She wants to be king,
said the embarrassed fisherman.
Just go on back. She already is.
When the fisherman returned home, he found an enormous palace. Everything inside was made of marble and pure gold, and it was surrounded by soldiers with drums and trumpets. His wife was seated on a throne, and he said to her,
"How nice for you that you are king. Now we won't need to wish for anything else."
But his wife was not satisfied.
"I'm only king of this country," she said. "I wish I were emperor of the whole world. If I were emperor, I would be the most powerful ruler on earth."
"Wife, now be satisfied,"
responded the fisherman.
"You're king. You can't be anything more."
The wife, however, wasn't convinced. She kept thinking and thinking about what more she could be.
"If I were emperor, I could have anything, and you wouldn't have to ask the fish for anything more. Go right now and tell the fish that I want to be emperor of the whole world."
"Oh, no,"
said the fisherman.
"The fish can't do that. If I were you, I wouldn't ask for anything else."
But his wife got so furious that the poor fisherman ran back to the fish. There was a terrible storm, and the sea was pitch black with waves as high as mountains.
"Well, what does she want now?"
asked the fish.
"She wishes she were emperor of the whole world,"
said the fisherman.
Just go on back. She's sitting in the pig pen again.
And they are still sitting there today.
Unit 22, page 355. Exercise 7.
Once there was a young girl named Cindy who was very good at math, sports, and languages. She wanted to be a scientist when she grew up so she could help many people. One day, while Cindy was playing soccer in the park with her friends, the ball flew into the woods. She looked and looked for the ball, but she couldn't see it anywhere.
I wish I could find that soccer ball,
Cindy muttered angrily. At that, she heard a strange sound.
Re-beep, re-beep, over here. Your ball is over here.
She looked in the direction of the sound, and she saw the soccer ball in the middle of some bushes. Next to the ball was a large toad.
Thanks for finding the ball,
she told the toad.
You're welcome,
said the toad.
But before I give it to you, you have to grant me one wish.
Cindy started to run toward the ball, but she couldn't get through the bushes. There was some sort of magic spell around them.
What's your wish?
She asked the toad.
Please hurry up. We want to finish our game.
I wish that you would marry me.
Yuck!
Screamed Cindy.
You're a toad. I'm a girl. I can't marry you.
I'm not a regular toad,
he replied.
I'm an enchanted prince. I'm under a spell. If you married me, you would break the spell. I would become a handsome prince again. And if I were a prince, you would be my princess.
Cindy thought about the princesses she had read about in magazines.
I don't think so, Toad,
Cindy told him.
You see, I plan to become a scientist and help a lot of people when I grow up. If I were your princess, I'd have to spend a lot of time having my photograph taken and going to ceremonies. If I did that, I'd be too busy to study science. But thanks anyway.
Cindy turned to leave the woods. The toad was furious.
Wait,
he shouted.
If you really wanted to help people, you wouldn't leave me here in these bushes.
Cindy stopped.
If you give me back the soccer ball, I'll try to help you. But no wedding.
The toad agreed, and Cindy picked up the ball.
So, who put you under the spell?
She asked.
A magician turned me into a toad. He also gave me some magic powers. He keeps telling me that if I used my powers properly, I'd find a way to become a prince again. But so far, nothing has worked.
Can you grant wishes?
Asked Cindy.
Just one,
responded the toad.
Then I wish you would turn me into a scientist right now. If I were a scientist, I would find a way to turn you back into a prince.
The frog consented, and in a flash, Cindy and the toad found themselves in a large modern laboratory. Cindy thought hard and worked long hours. At last, she succeeded in turning the toad back into a prince. The prince became a good king, and Cindy worked hard in her laboratory. Her discoveries helped many people.
Unit 23, page 359. Read.
What if? What would have happened if I had stayed in my own country? What would have happened if I had never met my husband? It's human nature to wonder how life would have been different if certain events had or had not occurred. There's even a name for the stories we create to answer these what-if questions. Alternate histories. Scientists, historians, fiction writers, and everyday people are always asking what-if questions. Read some typical examples on the next page.
Science. More than 65 million years ago, dinosaurs roamed our planet. Then a meteor hit the Earth, changing the climate, causing the complete extinction of most types of dinosaurs, and making the development of other kinds of animals possible. But what if the meteor had missed? Phil Curry, a scientist from the University of Alberta, Canada, believes that if the meteor had not struck the Earth, some types of dinosaurs would have become even more intelligent and would have continued dominating the world the way humans do today. Would humans have been able to develop alongside these supersaurs? If yes, what would our lives have been like if most types of dinosaurs had survived?
History. The 17th century French philosopher Blaise Pascal said, "If Cleopatra's nose had been shorter, the whole face of the world would have been changed." Like Cleopatra, many famous people have changed the course of history, and there has been much speculation on what would have occurred if they hadn't lived. One of the most common questions, for example, is what would have happened if Adolf Hitler had never been born, or if the assassination attempt on his life had been successful. Many people believe that World War II could have been avoided, or at least might have been shortened, saving tens of millions of lives and countless cities from destruction.
Everyday life. A woman rushes to catch a subway train. Just as she gets there, the doors close. The train pulls away, leaving the woman on the platform. What would have happened if she had gotten on the train? The film Sliding Doors explores this question by showing us two parallel stories, the life of the woman if she had gotten on the train, and the life of the same woman if she had missed the train. In one version of the story, the woman meets a man on the train, and the two end up falling in love. In the other, she gets mugged while running to catch a taxi and has to go to the hospital. The outcomes of this everyday occurrence, catching or missing a train, show us how a single ordinary moment can change the direction of our lives.
Some people argue that there is no way of ever really knowing what would have happened if a single event had been different. To those people, speculating about the past is just a game, an amusing way to pass the time. Yet to others, it is obvious that alternate histories have a lot to offer. To them, while we can never know exactly how a small change could have affected an outcome, exploring the results of an alternate past in books, movies, or our own lives can teach us important lessons.
Unit 23, page 368. Exercise 5B. 1.
I wish I hadn't taken supplies from my office. I wish my boss hadn't fired me.
2.
I wish I had caught my train. I wish I hadn't had to find a taxi.
3.
I wish she hadn't gotten mugged near my taxi. I wish she hadn't needed to go to the hospital.
4.
I wish Helen hadn't seen me with Lydia. I wish Helen hadn't left me.
5.
I wish I hadn't started seeing Jerry again. I wish I had broken up with him.
6.
I wish I had told Helen about my wife. I wish I hadn't lost her trust.
7.
I wish James had called me. I wish I hadn't gotten so depressed.
8.
I wish James hadn't lied to Helen. I wish he hadn't hurt her.
Unit 23, page 370. Exercise 7. Conversation 1.
Sorry I'm late. The train doors closed just as I got to the platform.
Oh, that was bad timing.
Actually, it was very good timing.
Good timing? What do you mean?
Well, it turns out that the train was in an accident just 5 minutes after it left the station. If I had been on it, I could have been injured. or worse.
Conversation 2.
So, how did you become an English teacher?
It was really just by chance. I was living in Germany, and a friend of mine was teaching at this language school. One day, she got sick and couldn't go in. The director of the school was desperate and called me to ask if I could teach that afternoon.
But you had never taught before.
Right. I guess he thought that just because I spoke English, I could teach. Well, anyway, I went in, taught the class, and really enjoyed it. Then I went on to graduate school to get training.
You mean if your friend hadn't been sick that day, you wouldn't have become a teacher?
That's right. I don't think I would ever have thought of it.
Conversation 3.
This is a great apartment. How did you find it?
Well, I'd been looking for an apartment for months, searching online, reading the paper, asking friends, but nothing. Then one day I was trying to find a bookstore and I got totally lost. All of a sudden I passed this building and it had a for rent sign on it. I rang the manager's bell, saw the apartment, and decided on the spot to take it.
That was lucky.
Yeah, if I hadn't gotten lost, I'd never have found this place.
Conversation 4.
How was the movie last night?
It was great.
Oh, I wish I had gone with you.
Why didn't you? You would have liked it.
I wanted to, but I had to study for my history test. If I hadn't had the test, I definitely would have gone.
Conversation 5.
Whew! I can't believe how lucky I am.
Why? What happened?
I lost my wallet on the train yesterday.
How did that happen?
I'm not sure. I guess it fell out of my pocket. Anyhow, I was really upset. There was a lot of money in it, plus a couple of credit cards.
What did you do?
When I got home, there was a message on my machine from the police. Someone had found it and turned it into them.
Wow, that's great. What would you have done if you hadn't gotten the call? Would you have called the police?
I might have.
Conversation 6.
So how did you and Marla end up owning this cafe?
Well, one day I got laid off from my job at the bank.
Oh, really? You worked at a bank?
Yep, I worked at that big bank right across the street. Anyway, the day I was laid off, I was pretty depressed. I didn't want to go home and tell Marla right away, so I walked around the neighborhood looking for a place to sit and have a cup of coffee. But I couldn't find one.
That's funny. This is the perfect spot for a neighborhood cafe.
Well, that's what I thought too. So when I got home, I said to Marla, "Let's open a cafe across from the bank."
So you did. And it's great. I love this place. Could you have opened this place if you hadn't lost your job?
Never. We love doing this. But if they hadn't fired me, I'd never have thought of it. I often think about what we would have missed.
Unit 24, page 376. Read.
The truth about lying. At 9 o'clock, Rick Spivak's landlord called and said Rick's rent was late. "The check is in the mail," Rick replied quickly. At 11:45, Rick left for a 12 o'clock meeting across town. Arriving late, Rick told his client that traffic had been bad. That evening, Rick's wife, Anne, came home with a new hairstyle. Rick hated it. "It looks great," he said. 3 lies in one day. Does Rick have a problem, or is he just an ordinary guy? Each time he told himself that sometimes the truth causes too many problems. Like Rick, most of us tell white lies, harmless untruths that help us avoid trouble. In fact, one social psychologist estimates that the average American tells about 200 lies a day. He says that lying is a habit, and we are often not even aware that we are doing it. When we do notice, we justify the lie by telling ourselves it was for a good purpose. These are our 6 most common excuses.
To be polite. I'd love to go to your party, but I have to work.
To protect someone else's feelings. Your hair looks great that way.
To feel better about yourself. I'm looking good these days.
To appear more interesting to others. I run 5 miles every day.
To get something more quickly. I have to have that report today.
To avoid uncomfortable situations. I was going to call you, but my phone battery was dead.
How do we get away with all those white lies? First of all, it's difficult to recognize a lie because body language usually doesn't reveal dishonesty. But even when we suspect someone is lying, we often don't want to know the truth. If an acquaintance says she's fine, but she clearly isn't, a lot of people find it easier to take her statement at face value. And when someone tells you, "You did a great job," you probably don't want to question the compliment. Is telling lies a new trend? In one survey, the majority of people who answered said that people were more honest in the past. Nevertheless, lying wasn't really born yesterday. In the 18th century, the French philosopher Vauvenargues told the truth about lying when he wrote, "All men are born truthful and die liars."
Unit 24, page 386. Exercise 6. Conversation 1.
Hi, Lisa. This is Alex. Let's have dinner together Saturday night. You told me that you didn't like to eat meat, so I found this great new vegetarian restaurant on the west side.
I'd really love to, Alex, but my parents called me last night. They said they were in town and wanted to see me on Saturday night. Let's do it another weekend, okay?
Conversation 2.
So, Ben, you told me that you really like to go to the gym in your spare time.
Yeah, I go whenever I have the chance. I usually work out about 3 times a week.
Oh, really? So do I. I think I told you that I even take aerobics on Sunday. I just love it. I never miss a class.
Conversation 3.
Hi, Mark. This is Lisa. How's the report coming?
Pretty well. Let's see. Today's Monday. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow morning.
Gee, Mark, I really need to have it today. My boss said it was urgent.
Oh? What's the rush?
Our weekly staff meeting is this afternoon. I really need to have the report before the meeting.
Conversation 4.
Dinner looks great, Katie.
Thanks. I told you that I wanted to make something special for you. Try the meat sauce. I want to know what you think.
I love it. It's just delicious. How did you make it?
Oh, it's an old family recipe. My mother told me that she always uses 2 kinds of meat. That's the secret to it. I can give you the recipe if you'd like.
Absolutely. I'd really love to make this sauce.
Unit 25, page 392. Read.
Force of Nature. It was March 18th, 1925. The weather forecaster said that there was going to be rain and strong winds. No one, however, was prepared for the extreme weather event that killed almost 700 people and destroyed 15,000 homes in the region of the United States known as the Midwest. The cause of this mass destruction? A tornado. Tornadoes are extremely violent storms. They spin very quickly in the shape of a funnel. Tornadoes occur mostly in North America and strike without much warning. They move quickly across both land and water, and their powerful winds, which often exceed 60 miles per hour, 96.5 kilometers per hour, can destroy entire towns. Sadly, that's what happened in 1925, when the Great Tri-State Tornado hit the states of Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, leaving death and destruction in its path. The tornado took everyone by surprise. Judith Cox was having lunch in Gorham, Illinois when the twister reached the town. She told a local newspaper that there had been a great roar like a train, but much louder. She said that the air had been full of everything: boards, tree branches, clothing, pans, stoves, and even parts of houses. Leila Hartman was just a 4-year-old child on March 18, 1925, but she remembered that day well. She had been visiting her grandmother's farm in Illinois. Years later, she recounted the events of that terrible day. She said that the day had started out nice, but that then it had kept getting darker and darker. The worried family found shelter in the basement of the house. When they came out afterwards, the world looked very different to the young girl. As usual, her father had parked his car in the barn. Hartman said the storm had totally destroyed the barn, had taken the roof off her father's car, and had moved the car closer to the house. The house itself had been turned around on its foundation. At the end of her account, when asked if she had anything else to say, Hartman replied simply that she hoped they would never have another tornado. In May 2011, almost 90 years after the tri-state tornado, a tornado hit the state of Missouri again. This time, however, things were different. Whereas it took days for the world to learn about the 1925 disaster, this time news traveled much faster. Newspaper editor Joe Hadsell reported that it had taken only minutes for people to find out about the tornado through sites like Facebook and Twitter. He said that people's friends and family had known instantly about the disaster, and that his newspaper had used these sites to spread more information. Can a tornado like the tri-state hit again? When asked this question, one meteorologist answered that not only could one strike again, but that one would strike again. He said that it was not a question of if, it was a question of when. In other words, it is inevitable. However, thanks to advances in science, technology, and communication, the devastation of this force of nature will probably not be as great as on that tragic day in 1925.
Unit 25, page 404, Exercise 6.
Hi, hon. Any news about the storm?
Yeah, there is. I was watching TV now, and they just issued a winter storm warning for our area.
Really? What did they say?
Well, they said that about a foot of snow had already fallen since early this morning.
Well, we already knew that.
Right, but they went on to say that more snow was expected during the day.
Oh, did they say anything about schools? I wonder if the storm will affect my sister and her kids.
It already has. They said all schools had closed by 10 o'clock this morning, and they advised everyone, students, teachers, school employees, to return home immediately. And they also said that schools might remain closed tomorrow.
Well, the kids will be happy about that. What else did they say?
They said that snow and high winds were causing dangerous conditions on the road, and that drivers had to drive slowly and with a great deal of caution to avoid accidents.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. In fact, they said that if possible, everyone should avoid driving until conditions improved, and that if you had to drive, you should take extra clothing and blankets.
Extra clothes and blankets? Really? Sounds pretty serious.
Uh-huh. And they said that people should make certain they had plenty of gas.
Well, that makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, they said many government offices would close today, and that libraries were closing at 1 o'clock.
Okay. What about post offices?
They said post offices would be closed tomorrow, and that many businesses in the area were also closing early because of the storm.
Did they say anything about banks? I was actually planning to go to our bank later in the afternoon.
Well, you can forget about that unless you just need to use the ATM. They said banks were closing at noon to allow employees time to get home safely. But they said that most supermarkets and gas stations would remain open until this evening. And they advised people to stock up on food and other necessary items since driving could be difficult for several days.
Good idea. Maybe we should go to Food Smart right now before things get worse.
Well, I don't know about that. Supermarkets are still open, but the roads are bad. Remember, they said we should avoid driving if at all possible.
That's true. Well, I guess it looks like we might be stuck inside for a few days.
Yep, could be.
Unit 26, page 408. Read.
Here's to your health.
Good morning. This is Connie Sung bringing you Here's to Your Health, a program about today's health issues. This morning, we've invited Dr. William Ray, director of the Sleep Disorders Clinic, to talk to us about insomnia. As you probably know, insomnia is a problem with getting to sleep or staying asleep. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thanks, Connie. It's great to be here.
Your book, Night Shift, will be coming out soon. In it, you tell people to pay more attention to sleep disorders. But why is losing a little sleep such a big problem?
Good question. I always tell people to think of the worst industrial disaster they've ever heard about. Usually it was caused, at least in part, by fatigue due to sleep deprivation. Then I ask them to think about what can happen if they drive when they're tired. Every year, more than 100,000 automobile accidents in this country are caused by sleepy drivers.
100,000? That's astonishing.
And costly, too. Recently, a large study of workers' fatigue reported that the problem costs U.S. employers around $136.4 billion a year in lost work time.
So, how can people deal with this problem? If I came to your clinic, for example, what would you advise me to do?
First, I would find out about some of your habits. If you drank coffee or cola late in the day, I would tell you to stop. The caffeine in these drinks interferes with sleep.
What about old-fashioned remedies like warm milk?
Actually, a lot of home remedies make sense. We tell patients to have a snack before they go to bed. High-carbohydrate foods like bananas are good. Warm milk helps too. But I'd advise you not to eat a heavy meal before bed.
My doctor told me to get more exercise, but when I run at night, I have a hard time getting to sleep.
It's true that if you exercise regularly, you'll sleep better. But we always tell patients not to exercise too close to bedtime.
Suppose I try these remedies and they don't help.
If the problem persists, we often ask patients to come and spend a night at our sleep clinic. Our equipment monitors the patient through the night. In fact, if you're really interested, we can invite you to come to the clinic for a night.
Maybe I should do that.
Unit 26, page 416. Exercise 5.
Hi, Marta. How are you doing?
Oh, well, actually not that great. I've been having a lot of headaches lately. In fact, I just got back from a headache clinic.
Really? What did they tell you?
Let's see. They told me to keep a journal and monitor the headaches. You know, write down when I get a headache and what I was doing before I got it.
Did they tell you how to prevent them?
They made some suggestions. First, they said to get regular exercise. I think I'm going to start running every day. Oh, and they also told me to get 8 hours sleep. They said that fatigue causes headaches, and I've had insomnia lately.
That's interesting. You work at a sleep clinic and you haven't been getting enough sleep. Do you think it's because you've been working the night shift?
I think so. Working at night really interferes with my sleep.
That must be hard. Did they give you some painkillers? Some people really need medicine for the pain.
No, not yet. They told me not to take painkillers right now. If the headaches persist, they'll prescribe them. But they said to try to treat the headaches without medication first.
That sounds good. Did they recommend any natural remedies?
They said to use an ice pack.
That's a good idea. Did they say anything about massaging around your eyes?
They didn't tell me to do that. Does it help?
I think so. It works for me. Why don't you try it? What else did they say about preventing headaches?
Oh, they said not to eat 3 big meals a day. They told me to eat several small meals instead.
Do you have to avoid certain foods?
Yeah, chocolate. They said not to eat chocolate.
How about cheese? I've heard that cheese can cause headaches.
They didn't tell me to avoid cheese. Hey, you seem to know a lot about this.
Oh, I've been going to a headache clinic for a long time. Let me show you how to massage around your eyes. That really helps me.
Unit 27, page 420. Read.
Why can't you work under pressure? Have you cleaned out your car recently? Who wrote your application letter for you?
Do I really want this job? The stress interview. A few weeks ago, Melissa Morrow had an unusual job interview. First, the interviewer asked why she couldn't work under pressure. Before she could answer, he asked if she had cleaned out her car recently. Right after that, he wanted to know who had written her application letter for her. Melissa was shocked, but she handled herself well. She asked the interviewer whether he was going to ask her any serious questions. Then she politely ended the interview. Melissa had had a stress interview, a type of job interview that asks tough, tricky questions with long silences and negative evaluations of the job candidate. To the unhappy candidate, this may seem unnecessarily nasty on the interviewer's part. However, some positions require an ability to handle just this kind of pressure. If there is an accident in an oil well near the coast, for example, the oil company's public relations officer must remain calm when hostile reporters ask how the accident could have occurred. The uncomfortable atmosphere of a stress interview gives the potential employer a chance to watch a candidate react to pressure. In one case, the interviewer ended each interview by saying, "We're really not sure that you're the right person for this job." One excellent candidate asked the interviewer angrily if he was sure he knew how to conduct an interview. She clearly could not handle the pressure she would encounter as a TV news reporter, the job she was interviewing for. Stress interviews may be appropriate for some jobs, but they can also work against a company. Some excellent candidates may refuse the job after a hostile interview. Melissa Morrow handled her interview extremely well, but she later asked herself if she really wanted to work for that company. Her answer was no. A word of warning to job candidates: not all tough questioning is legitimate. In some countries, certain questions are illegal unless the answers are directly related to the job. If an interviewer asks how old you are, whether you are married, or how much money you owe, you can refuse to answer. If you think a question isn't appropriate, then ask the interviewer how the answer specifically relates to that job. If you don't get a satisfactory explanation, you don't have to answer the question. And remember, whatever happens, don't lose your cool. The interview will be over before you know it.
Unit 27, page 431. Exercise 6.
So, how did the interview go?
Well, it started off okay. The interviewer asked me why I had left my last job.
Sounds like a pretty typical question.
Right, but then he asked me how old I was. I just told him that I was old enough to have had a lot of valuable experience, but still young enough to bring a lot of energy to a new job.
That was a great answer. Then what happened?
Well, then he asked me if I was married.
Oh, that question isn't legal in Canada. Did you answer it?
Yes. I felt uncomfortable, but I told him I was married and that I have 2 grown children.
Okay, what happened next?
He asked me what I knew about the company and why I wanted to work there.
Well, that certainly was appropriate.
Yes, but then he said my last name was unusual, and he asked me what my nationality was. I told him I had taken my husband's last name. So then he asked me what my husband did. Then, out of nowhere, he asked me if I owed anyone any money.
What?
Can you believe that? I explained that we owed some money on our credit cards. Finally, he got back to the subject of the job. He asked me how long I had worked at my last job and which computer programs I'm familiar with. I thought we were going to stay on the topic of my job skills, but next he asked me if I had ever been arrested.
You're kidding.
No, really. So I asked him why he had asked that question.
And what did he say?
He said he was just checking and that they had to be very careful who they hired these days. But then he asked me how tall I was.
What? He asked you about your height?
Yes. So I said, "Excuse me, but before I answer that question, could you please tell me how my height specifically relates to the job?"
What did he say to that?
Well, luckily the phone rang, and I took the opportunity to say that I had to leave.
Sounds like a stress interview to me.
Well, it certainly was stressful.
Unit 28, page 437. Read.
The tip. Who, when, and how much. In China, it used to be illegal. In New Zealand, it's uncommon. In Germany, it's included in the restaurant bill. In the United States and Canada, it's common, but it isn't logical. You tip the person who delivers flowers, but not the person who delivers a package. Do you often wonder what to do about tipping? We do. So to help us through the tipping maze, we interviewed author Irene Frankel. Her book, Tips on Tipping, The Ultimate Guide to Who, When, and How Much to Tip, answers all your questions about this complicated practice. Tell me why you decided to write a book about tipping.
I began writing it for people from cultures where tipping isn't a custom. But when I started researching, I found that Americans were also unsure how to tip. So Tips became a book to clarify tipping practices for people traveling to the United States and for people living here.
Does your book explain who to tip?
Oh, absolutely. It tells you who to tip, how much to tip, and when to tip. And equally important, it tells you when not to tip.
That is important. Suppose I don't know whether to tip someone and I left your book at home. Is it okay to ask?
Sure. If you don't know whether to leave a tip, the best thing to do is ask. People usually won't tell you what to do, but they will tell you what most customers do.
I always wonder what to do when I get bad service. Should I still tip?
Don't tip the ordinary amount, but tip something so that the service person doesn't think that you just forgot to leave a tip.
That makes sense. Here's another thing I've always wondered about. Is there any reason why we tip a restaurant server, but we don't a flight attendant?
Not that I know. The rules for tipping in the United States aren't very logical, and there are often contradictions in who we tip.
Another thing. I've never really understood why a restaurant tip depends on the amount of the bill, rather than on the amount of work involved in serving the meal. After all, bringing out a $20 dish of food involves the same amount of work as carrying out a $5 plate.
You're right. It makes no sense. That's just the way it is.
One last question. Suppose I'm planning a trip to Egypt. Tell me how I can learn about tipping customs in that country.
There are a number of internet sites where you can learn what the rules are for tipping in each country. The World Travel site is always reliable. You can also find that information in travel books for the country you're planning to visit.
Well, thanks for all the good tips. I know our readers will find them very helpful. I certainly did.
Thank you.
Unit 28, page 448. Exercise 6.
Good morning. You're listening to WYAK Talk Radio. I'm your host, Emma Collins, and our topic this morning is tipping. When, who, where, and how much. For those of you who have just tuned in, we've been talking to Alicia Markson, who owns and operates a travel agency. Ms. Markson is now ready to answer any and all of your questions about tipping. Caller number 1, you're on the air.
I'm from Norway, and I'm visiting this country for a few weeks. Your tipping customs here are pretty unfamiliar to me. Where I come from, restaurants add a service charge to the bill. They just add an additional 10% to the total, so we usually don't leave a tip. Can you tell me how much to tip in a restaurant here?
Caller number 2, go ahead.
I don't take taxis very much, so when I do take a taxi, I always have a problem with the tip. I never know exactly how much to tip the driver. Sometimes I think I overtip. You know, I end up giving the driver too much. Can you tell me how much I should tip the driver?
Caller number 3, you're on the air.
I just got to this country and I've been eating out a lot in restaurants where, you know, you don't pay the server, you pay the cashier instead. My problem is this. I'm never sure where to leave the tip. I don't know if I should leave it on the table or try to find my server. Could you help clarify this for me?
Caller number 4, please ask your question.
I just had an awful experience in a restaurant. Our server was slow, forgot things, and on top of it all, wasn't even polite. Please, tell me what to do if I don't like the service in a restaurant.
Caller number 5, please go ahead.
I recently started going to a hair salon. I know I'm supposed to tip the person who washes my hair, but when I'm ready to leave, she's often busy with another customer and I don't want to interrupt. Besides, her hands are all wet. Can you tell me where I should leave the tip?
Caller number 6, what's your question?
I'm going to be traveling a lot for my new job. I need reliable cultural information for all the places I'm going to be visiting. For example, I wonder how to find information on tipping practices before I travel.
We have time for just one more question. Caller number 7, please go ahead.
My roommate and I are exchange students. We need to find out how much to tip when we order takeout. It's kind of urgent. We just ordered a pizza.